Hello, good afternoon, or good morning, depending if you're watching this live or if you're watching it offline. Welcome. You are more than encouraged to be here and more than welcomed. And I want to say it's an honor for me to present my first workshop with the University of Aruba, and also to send you my appreciation for choosing to spend 1 hour to discover more information that will help you to reach your best potential. So congratulations for investing in yourself. As you've seen in the title and maybe why you are participating, we are discussing today about how to open the path to your best self. And in order to continue, I want to explain a bit, because that's quite a big area, right? Like best self, what does that mean? How can I reach that? I will make today everything very clear. That's why I have also a first small requirement. It's so efficient if I have next to me paper and pen. That will help us because I want to make everything practical for today. So if I have that, I want to practice. And at the end of the workshop, I want you to have as much clarity as possible for what you need for reaching a better version of who you want to become. So today we will discuss about the mindset for thriving and achieving your best potential. Why I chose to speak about that? I think we all need at some point in life to reach that full potential. I can have at some point different problems, but the moment the problems are set down, it's time to focus on how can I improve? How can I give myself even more? Because I fully believe that every single person in the world, it is born with the capacity to reach their full potential. We just need the instruments to do so. So that's my mission. My mission is to empower people. That's why I finished my school. And for 10 years, I've been working with people from a physical and mental perspective to help them to reach a better self. I am a psychotherapist. I'm also a personal trainer. I love sports. And I moved to Aruba a bit over 3 months ago. And I used exactly what I'm going to teach you today. I had no certainty that anything will be good or not. I use the methods that I'm going to teach you to come here. So let's see what it's all about. Your thing to do is just to relax, is just to open your mind to get inspired, get curious, and let's see what means success. What are the elements that contribute to success? We hear this every day. We hear it in motivational speeches. We hear it in schools. We hear it in media. But what does psychology say that it's worth keeping after all that information that we hear everywhere in order to make it more efficient for us? And then how do we use these elements? If I know them, how do I actually incorporate them in my own life to get the best out of it? And at the end, some tips and tricks, because I work with hundreds of people on their way to obtaining success, and I can give just a few basic rules how to make it easier for yourself. So the 4 elements for success are motivation, potential, action, and certainty. And I want to start explaining shortly what means each one of them. I invite you to have close by your pen and paper. So motivation, it's easy. We've all heard, right? I need to motivate myself. I'm so motivated. I'm lacking motivation, motivational speeches. It's a word everywhere right now. It's that process that guides us, that initiates us, that makes us have a behavior towards obtaining a goal. One question. Has it ever happened to you to say, I'm starting gym, I'm going to eat healthier, I'm going to finish my exams, I'm going to grade my students' papers earlier and faster, and also do that, and also lose some weight, and also, so we have goals, right? But all of a sudden, it happens sometimes that 1 to 3 days we're up for it and we fully feel it. It's a normal, it's good, it's true feeling, but it just lowers down. After a few days, something happens that in the end, maybe we don't reach the goal, we stop. Here, I want to insist on something. You are not the only one that goes through this. Motivation is like a muscle. Motivation is just not something that shows up and all of a sudden it stays forever with you. It has to come for a reason. So what I want to explain here is motivation only works when we understand why we do something. For example, how does it sound if I say you need to lose 10 kilos? It's quite strict, isn't it? And maybe you think and say, yeah, you know what, 10 kilos would be good. So yeah, I'm gonna lose 10 kilos, but it's a must do. It's a task, it's a responsibility, it's a duty. So on your goal, you have, I need to lose 10 kilos. But in 3 days, when you're busy, when you're tired, when you had a long, stressful day, that goes away. It doesn't stay. What happens? Do you really know why? So here comes the part where we start making things practical. With a piece of paper that you have, could you think of something that you wish for in the present moment, from something that small, from, I don't know, passing an exam or changing your life in any way, improving your health in any way, losing weight, learning to cook, going to the gym, improving your relationships, traveling somewhere, anything. Here, I would love to hear some feedback. If you can write it down on your paper, could you also please help me in the chat to know you better, to know what would be important for you right now? Is there a goal you have? I will also use a few examples, but maybe together, me knowing some specific things that are important for you, I could also follow up with a few examples for that. Thank you, Josiane. Yes, catch up on my studies. I think when you're a student, that's definitely something that stays up in your mind. Nice, Kimberly, finalize the PhD. Yes. Finalize bachelor also. Exactly. Or finishing the bachelor or the studies in time, not taking longer than the time that's been given. Change of country and job. All right, wonderful examples. I congratulate you for having these goals and thank you so much for sharing. So we have study goals, we have changing country or job. All right. For now, please keep writing in the chat box and it's good if you have it clear for you. What do we do with the motivation for these things? That's the question. In order to function, in order to stay with me, in order to really start well on my goal, I always need to have these 4 elements. I need to know why I do something. I need to vision it. I need to know my mission and I need to know my values. So I invite you to do some introspection exercise together, because if I come to you and say, you know what, you need to finish your exams and in time, you have 2 months. You need to finish your PhD, finish PhD. Yeah, it's a good goal, right? But how about when you get tired, when you get busy, when you get stressed out, when you have so many tasks to finish for your PhD, for your bachelor, to finish it in time, or to find a new job abroad? Why do you need to do that? Is it mandatory? Are you being forced? Or if you finish the school in time, you can actually get your diploma in time. What if you get your diploma in time, you can get a job that you dream of? What if you get the job, you get a salary that's enough to offer you a good life? And if you have a good life, what if then you become independent from your family, or you can help your family, or you can buy a house, or you can travel? And if you help your family, what if in the future this allows you to grow professionally and establish your new family in a few years from now? Make sense? So my invitation is, can you write down at least 5 reasons why you want to change your job, change your country, finish PhD, finish bachelor, finish studies, catch up with your studies, finish exams in time? Sometimes maybe if I didn't consider that before, I knew I have to, like I always see those books, or I have in the back of my mind that obligation to do and the pressure and the stress, and I forget why I chose. Like a child, why, right? If you have to go somewhere. If the child understands why and gets a reason for what, he will cooperate, he will want to. But if you force someone, they get scared, they get anxious, they don't get motivated. Motivation needs kindness, needs reason. We can always leave the list open. The more reasons, the better. And I will invite you to study a bit the next factor. I know why. How about I tell you, because we know the goals now, you need to pass exams. Otherwise it's bad. You're gonna fail exams. You're not gonna finish in time. It's gonna take another year to finish. Most of the time, where I want to change my job, what if I don't find the job? What if I don't adjust in a new country? The mind, it's used to search for the negative. It searches for like the consequences, the bad outcomes. And so many times I forget to focus on how would it be when I'm actually gonna do it. And my invitation is, take a second, breathe it out, and allow yourself to picture how would you feel the moment it's done. The moment the studies are in time. The school is finished. The last exam is done. The diploma is on the way. The job interview went well and you're on your way. How does it feel? How do you feel in your body? How does it feel here? How does it feel here? Picture it. That's the vision. Always choose to vision when the goal is there. Because next time, when are you going to be tired, when you're going to be stressed out, because that's going to happen when maybe things won't go as great as you planned with everything. Instead of the lack of motivation and the anxiety and the pressure and the guilt for not being there yet, you can replace with that warm, exciting, interesting, positive feeling that can come from why you chose to visualize it. And I recommend even write it down. We all need positive encouragement. Pressure, it's around the corner at any time, but encouragement and excitement, it's harder to find. So then it's in our job to make sure we keep that image with us when we need it most. And as a next step, I want to introduce the next concept that we discussed about. How familiar are you with the concept of having a mission? Have you ever heard of people like that traveled around the world, or people that went to war and sacrificed for their country, or people that decided to open a big church or a big orphanage to help others, right? We hear about the examples of people with high mission. Each person, if they have even an idea about a mission of theirs, they will be more connected and in more embrace with their own needs. To give an example, if I say to someone, you need to pass your exams, catch up with your studies, finish your bachelor, finish your PhD, or if I ask someone, if you finish your PhD, if you finish your bachelor, if you catch up with your studies, if you change your job and country, what will achieve with that? What mission you have by obtaining that? Will you be able, with your degree and diploma, to help others? Will you be able to empower yourself? Will you be able to live a life when you can choose your job, your country? Will you be able, maybe if you finish the studies, get a stable job, get a good salary, and this way have the mission to help others, help your family, improve the quality of your life for you and the others around you? Be open-minded. Go as far as you can in the future with how much you can obtain by doing just this small goal today, for example, in the next weeks or months. It's not always easy to find your mission, but is there something that gives you some excitement? If you think about helping, doing, moving, changing, some words, if a word is giving me any excitement, pleasure, it seems interesting, then means it's part of a mission of mine. No one wants to do something that's not part of your mission, right? Of their mission. And if you had enough time to write a few examples, I invite you to go to the last part of this factor, most important. Have you thought recently, what values do you have as a person? What values of yours are you using right now, or values that encouraged you in the first place to choose this goal? Not everyone decides to do a bachelor's. Not everyone decides to change country. Not everyone decides to be in time with their school or to finish a PhD. There has to be a value or more of yours that made you choose. Are you curious? Do you love a challenge? Do you like to help others? And by finishing your school, you know you will have the degree and the abilities to actually help or empower or inform others. Are you a person that always wants to become better? Probably, if you're part of this workshop, I'm sure of that. Do you want around you to see a better world and you want to be part of it? Are you a person, for example, that likes routine and stability? That's also a value. So maybe when you get so anxious because you're not in time, means maybe a good value of yours is to have a routine and to have control and stability. So then if you are in accordance with that value, you can keep up your routine. You can study in time. It gets easier. So you avoid the opposite of your value, the instability, the uncertainty. I invite you to write down as many examples as possible of your values that are motivating you to finish your goal. And now, how about potential? So I know why, right? If I know why, I can wake up at 3 in the morning and still know why I want something. The question is, if I do this, if I reach my goal, if I reach my best self with this goal, what qualities or abilities that are now asleep, let's say, can become better and lead to future success? Here is my invitation to introspect. What's your potential? Who can you become if you finish your PhD? Who can you become if you get that job? If you finish your studies? If you're in time with school? If you lose the weight? If you start a gym? If you travel around the world? Can you become a good professional? Can you become a good accountant? Can you become a great professor? Can you become a great engineer, a great, like it can be, you know, each one of us here, we have our own studies. Can you write down what can you become? Who can you become? What skills can you develop? If you, even though it's hard, even though you're struggling, even though you're behind, even though you have anxiety, what skills can you develop if you continue, if you go towards your goal? Can you become more patient? Can you become more able to keep a presentation? Can you become more able to structure information, to manage your time, to tolerate frustration, to accept new challenges? Are these skills that will be useful for you if you practice them now? Will they be useful for you in the future? I invite you to write down. Even structuring information, even reading and presenting myself at an interview or at an exam, it teaches me maybe 10 years later when I'm going to have a job to be able to finish my tasks in time and allow me to get a great promotion, because from my team, I'm the one that managed this discipline, because I started cultivating the skill of discipline long time ago, because I understand why, because I know my reasons, not because anyone is forcing me. What qualities can you write down? Can you become more patient? Can you become more attentive to details? Can you become more goal-oriented, more ambitious, more empowered, more curious, more kind towards yourself or to others? More open-minded? We see sometimes from such small things like just finishing your school, for example, that seems so far away and so hard right now. If you understand why you chose in the first place and how much upfront is to gain from even small gestures, even the fact that I wake up and I open the book, or the fact that I don't quit, the fact that I continue, even though I like it or not, it's still preparing me for that future best self that I'm working on. A future best self comes from being constantly aware of it, of being in accordance with that value of becoming who I want to become. A challenge is just a temporary challenge for a bigger picture. And even what material things? Can you get a better job if you finish? Can you get more time if you finish them in time instead of stressing another 6 months? If you change country, can you get maybe a different environment, different people that you meet? There's so many things that can change. More money in your bank account, a ticket to travel in a country that you always dreamed of, a house, a car. So we can continue. I hope you're always aware of your potential. So question, you know you want it. You know why you want it. You know you can become the best. You can become the best teacher. You can become the best professional. You can become the best person you can become. You name it. You write it down. You're motivated. You tell everyone about it. I will do it. I will get it. I will be rich. I will be happy. I'm going to obtain my goals. Is that enough? What do you think makes the difference between wanting something and hoping to become, knowing you can become, and having it done, signed up, ready, finished? There's one more thing. It is putting up the work into everything we do. The moment we accept, the moment we embrace that putting an effort, taking action, it's essential. And action, it's our friend. That's when we get more empowered than 50% of the globe. You will always have, let's be honest, we will see people successful and people less successful. And people that promise a lot, people that want a lot, people that speak about a lot, they know it, they did all the courses, they read about, they could give you all the theory in the world. What happens to actually have the success? You must use discipline, you must take action, you must put the effort, and also we need a plan. In order to reach a goal, I need clarity. If I just tell you, for example, if you're a teacher, before exam, let's say we need to finish bachelor or the PhD, and the teacher comes and says, hey, students, on the end of May, we have exam on finance. So go home and study finance. Okay, it's just a general idea. It's like, oh, so I want that. But how much clarity do I have over the steps I need to take before the lack of clarity becomes so scary and overwhelming that takes me back to lack of motivation and fear and doubt? I need a plan. Like if I need to pass an exam, what's the first step? Maybe I need to make 1 day per week, 30 minutes time to study. Maybe that's the first step. Rule. When I make a plan, I always need to start with the smallest step possible. And here I want to share some experience from my clients, because I would have clients that come and say, okay, I struggle with anxiety, I need to lose 10 kilograms, and I need to change my job. And I need this to happen instantly and radically. So what's your plan? I'm gonna go to the gym 6 days per week, every day for 1.5 hours. I'm gonna eat only salads. I'm gonna send 100 emails per week to find a new job, and I'm gonna change my house. That sounds huge. How rational it is. How rational is your plan? How rational is your expectation? How kind towards yourself is asking for so much all of a sudden? Many people tend to stop at some point just because the plan was not efficient and right enough, not because they don't have potential or they cannot do it or they don't know why. It's because maybe there's some mistake in planning. Baby step. If my first step is 30 minutes in my schedule to study, it's perfect. If step 2 is sending 2 emails, if step 3 is studying for 20 minutes, 20 minutes per day working on my goal, having a plan, will take me much further in 2 months from now on than ignoring those 20 minutes because it's not worth it anyway. It's just 20 minutes. Ask for help, get guidance, study how other people have planned these things before, and make a list of different solutions that you can keep on changing till you find your best solution. You are not a failure yourself if you didn't manage to pass an exam or if you didn't find a job yet. It means maybe you need to revise your plan. So I invite you, let's write down 3 baby steps. And if you're inspired today, would you write 5 tiny baby steps for your goal? Yeah, and here I know that creating a plan takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. The less I ask for myself in the beginning, the less anxiety I have. So if my first step is to just study 20 minutes or to just work out on my final paper for 20 minutes per week, not even per day, if that's the maximum I can right now without feeling scared, it's still a good start. Because if I give myself the kindness to take it easy, I can become more rested, more creative, more inspired, more motivated that next day to do 40 minutes because it feels right. It doesn't feel scary. So that's why kindness is a must. Always start with, I always tell my clients, better to do 5 squats instead of planning to do 6 workouts per week. Because from 5 squats, you will be happy, and next time you do 10, and naturally you do 20. The same with finishing every project you have in your life. And a last advice for the plan making from myself, just set up also a deadline. Allow the brain to adjust to the deadline, because the subconscious mind starts working for you. It will do what they need to do. And here I invite you, I'm in the chat, if anyone has any obstacles, we can have it at the end of the workshop. Have you been in the position of being motivated, making a plan, but still something not working for you? Please write it down, and maybe in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, we can discuss a bit about obstacles, different type of obstacles, or something that you need, or any advice that you faced. Yeah, so anytime you think about something, share so we can try together to brainstorm. And now, if at least you have a bit contoured your plan, right? So now we know already why, we can picture it, we know our potential, we know our mission as people, our values, we even made the plan. Many of you, maybe you arrived by here, and I'm sure maybe of you already have a plan or have been working on things. It's not the first time you hear these things. What's still missing when you're still struggling? And this is the 4th element I want to present, the last element that I want to present for today, the certainty. So many times you see capable people, people that have been through so much, through so many hard events in their lives, through so many work situations, family situations, school situations, and they're still here and they manage things that are very hard to manage, but still don't fully believe. They still don't fully allow themselves to fully believe that they can do it. Just a fun fact here, it's like in psychology, they made some studies. So they had two people. One person, they came confident and they presented themselves in front of the interviewers, so confident, so able, so capable. I can do that. I know my worth, I know my power. And the other one came, normal attitude, quite modest, not fully believing. Even though the person that was confident failed at the task, the jury, the interviewers, still perceived him as being capable. Like his mistake was forgiven so much easier, and he's being given more credit for being human, for it's normal to make mistakes, just because he presented himself as confident. So how I present myself, it's how people will believe I am. I have the right to be certain that I can do something. And now, let's talk. I invite you to stand up with me and to do an exercise together. I will explain shortly and clearly what I want to do. Yeah, I hope you come with me. Yeah, even though you're not in the mood for it, let's just stand up for 1 minute and play this game to see if it works. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we're standing up, we're curious. Let's see what it's all about. I invite you to hold position exactly as you are. So at all times, face your computer. Body doesn't move. I challenge you only with your hand, only with your finger, index finger, pointed in front. Body doesn't move, it stays exactly here. And try with your finger to see how far in the back can you show. Yeah, face towards me, only hand and index finger, it's going. Yeah, let's watch where it is. Keep that in mind. And I'm coming back. I put my hand down and I stay up. I invite you. We don't do anything now. I don't need to move my body. I don't need to use my finger. I only will use my imagination. I invite you for a few seconds, close your eyes, and with your eyes closed, picture how you're moving this time in your imagination further. So with your finger, you're going 20% further than you went in reality. Can you see it? Now, can you go 50% further? Use imagination. Can you go 100%? Can you start rotating? Move your trunk, go show a circle around you with your imagination. Nothing is blocking that finger. All right. We can open the eyes. I invite you, standing exactly as before, facing the camera, lifting the index finger. Show me how possibly far can you go this time. And look at it. Yeah, and I can regress. I have one question for you. Did you go any further this second time? Can anyone give me an answer in the chat if anyone went a bit further this time? I'm curious because I cannot see. About 10% further. Yes. Yes, 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 10, 20%. Conclusion. Our mindset, the moment you allowed yourself to believe, even if it was crazy, if it, like to rotate 300 degrees in your head, it was absurd, right? But your mind allowed it. You believed it. You allowed it to believe. And all of a sudden, you were capable to do 10, 20% in just 1 minute. So you focused for 1 minute and you already did 20% more than you thought in the beginning. So what I want to inspire you here is make a plan, have the vision, but by the end, you have to believe it. The most important part in reaching a goal is to deep down believe so strongly that you can and that you are capable that absolutely no tornado can stay in front of you to stop you. A tornado can come, you wait and pass the tornado, you think, believe, make a new plan, find a way to move past it. Because if I don't believe, I'm in front of an obstacle, I'm scared, right? I want to avoid, I want to hide, I procrastinate, I want to, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe I finish it next year, and maybe I do my exams and I get some 2 months extra. But if I fully believe, I'm just going to open that book with the idea that I can. I'm just going to send that email to a future job with the idea I can. I'm going to present myself in an interview, giving the impression that I feel that I'm able to. So, with this being said, the last part is always know what you want. Always know what you want. If other people decide for you, you're just gonna go, yeah. If other people told you, oh yeah, finish, lose the weight, finish the school, you have to know why. Always start from the smallest. The smaller, the easier and less anxiety it builds, and the easier it is to find motivation for it. Step by step, baby steps. Psychology has so many studies to prove that step-by-step approach really works. Kindness, so essential. Celebrate your success, even though today you just studied for 10 minutes, or even though today you just woke up and made a plan, you're still better than not doing anything. Even though today you had a discussion about a future job or a future interview about your PhD, you're still approaching your goal. Be kind and celebrate that. Be your friend, be your cheerleader. Keep on going. 20 minutes in 1 year make much more than 0 minutes in 1 year at the end of the year. And when you're doubting, always remember it's all here. You are good enough and you deserve, and yes, you can do it. Try to break your tasks into small steps. What's the book you need? What's the field you need to study? In how many days, how many hours will you need for that? Try to write it down, break it into small pieces, and see how much time you need for it. Is there anyone that can help you for more information? Kimberly, for example, maybe underestimating. Sometimes, look, it happens that people say in 3 hours, I finish an entire paper for a project. Maybe it's not. Just to be sure, always double the time. That would be my first advice. Just to be sure, just double the time. The same with, for example, I need to finish my PhD in a few months, right? And no problem. I can start 1 month before to write my paper. Maybe giving myself extra 3 weeks will help much more. I sometimes completely lose track of my current progress just because of a mirror setback, and then it is hard to motivate myself again. Or minor setback, all right, yes. Yes, it's so easy to be good, 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 and then you have a bad day. And then many people, it's normal, you're not the only one. Many people just stop. Like, I didn't study enough, or I didn't finish that, it's not good enough, it's not worth it. But here, Megan, I hope that setting up the values and the mission will be of help. Because look, if my mission is to help people, and my mission is to become independent, and my mission is to become my best self, and I know that at any time, then this very small setback, like the fact that I had the break, the fact that I didn't finish in time, the fact that I didn't pass an exam, they only become like small details of the bigger picture. Makes sense? Maybe you had an interview, you want a job, and someone said no. That's just the small details. Maybe you had a day when you didn't study anything. That's just a detail. In the big picture, that's a long road for your personal development and for your school. Just know your mission, know your values, and small details, they have to happen. It's fine. And sometimes we need to not be in perfect terms with everything. I get easily distracted by my phone. Josiane, yes. Yes, that's a really big problem of our society. We start with the motivation. We start with our plans, and we are in the middle of studying or working, and the phone beeps. Or even worse, the phone doesn't beep, but I still check it, right? So I do it myself. If I were you, I would definitely not judge myself for that too much, because everyone does it. It's like we are addicted to phones, and right now the phones have become a real issue. They are amazing and they help us, but the human brain, it's made to not have too much attention span. It's like usually maximum it's 50 minutes that we can have like fully focused. So I could give one advice here would be, when you have something important to do, you have an important task, choose that for only 20 minutes or even 30, take the phone and put it in another room. Because if you're expecting, all of a sudden, I'm not going to check my phone anymore, yeah, the anxiety of checking the phone comes. But if you made a nice agreement with yourself and you say, phone is yours in 30 minutes, phone is waiting for you, you will be able to check your notifications, but for just 30 minutes, you are free from your phone. Sounds more kind, right? It's like it's talking to a child. 30 minutes we study, and then we enjoy a reward. And maybe it helps, just put it aside separately. If you like, replace it with a cup of tea that you can sip from, or even chewing gum. It's considered that we remember things easier. If during the study I chew gum, I can remember the information better. So your mind still keeps active, but not necessarily on the phone. How to be kind to yourself. Thank you, Renald, for a great question, and not use that as an excuse for not taking action. Yeah, that is a very, very good question. I think from my experience with clients, being kind with yourself, it's been the hardest thing in the world to do. And that's interesting because the next workshop, it's Friday. We have a workshop about how to become kinder to yourself and how different experiences in life have taught us to be quite harsh with ourselves. I think it's also a decision. So it's pretty hard to solve this in once, but I will be kind with myself only when I will decide that I deserve. And to be kind with yourself means at some point, even to just take a day when you don't do anything for your goal and still be on your side instead of judging. You didn't do it, you're not in time, you're lacking time again, you didn't keep it up. Why are you like that? You're not good enough, you're an imposter, you're not putting your best effort. That critical voice has to shut up. And with the decision from the heart that I deserve, it's okay, I decide to keep myself kind with myself. I decide to maintain being my friend. It's like having your best friend one time, two times making a mistake. And after each time they make a mistake, you start speaking bad with them, you start judging them, criticizing them, quitting on them. Is that friendship? Is that kindness? No. Then why don't we do the same friendship with ourselves? Why can I be kind and understanding with others, but when it comes to me, it's like, oh no, criticize and judgment. So maybe an advice here would be, when you hear those mean thoughts, like, oh, you didn't do it, you're not in time, it's a criticism, something, imagine, what would you say to your best friend if one day they would tell you the same story? If they would say, I didn't finish my task, I didn't study today, I slept too much, I skipped school, I ate too much, I didn't do that and that and that. What would you tell them? And if those words are kind, it means 100% that you have the exact same right to hear in your head the kind words and approval, even though you're not perfect. Because from kindness comes creativity. From allowance and tolerance comes inspiration, comes motivation. That's how we become the best self, with kindness, not with a whip, on our back, because that's going to be burnout. So I am more than grateful to have read your questions and your obstacles and your feedbacks, and to have you here in the workshop.